We've all got scars, some on the outside and some on the inside. But we can't be defined by our scars. I've spoken with some extraordinary people about how they've become empowered by their scars. This is I've Got Scars, baby.
All right. Okay. So I'm so excited today right now. I really am. Because we have, this is just going to be something else. I hope you are prepared. Okay. I hope you are. I don't know if you can get prepared for what's about to happen. Okay.
Ain't ready.
But today we have Miss Angel Gaines. She is comedian, educator, and coach. And she on the show today. And we're going to talk about diversifying the dream. Okay. Yes. We're going to talk about that. So, okay. So just to give you a little bit of a backstory on me and Angel. So, when I first got into comedy and I started in comedy, mind you, I took a comedy class with my mama. Okay. Father. That's a whole other thing right there.
This was the best.
like really? Like with your mama? Yes, with my mama.
Yep,
okay.
Yep.
And so she actually came and spoke to the class, and she was helping us, supporting us in the whole 9 yards. And Angel has just really been that. Like people have called her just, you're an angel. And not just because that's her name, but because she really comes in and she knows how to provide support, encouragement, and the truth at the same time and get people together. Okay. And she has gotten me together on so many occasions. Okay. So, yes, I'm so happy to have you on the show because you are doing your thing.
Thank you. Well, yes, everything that Audra said is totally true. First of all, let's back up a minute. She does not have a regular mama, okay? Her mother is hysterical. She is one of my closest friends on Facebook. We interchange messages and videos all the time. I'm loving some Audra's mom. Okay, so that's that, okay? Because people are like, you took comedy with your mama? They don't know your mama. And she is funny. Her set was hilarious. Okay.
Now, off the stage. I was like, mama. the light. Okay.
I love it. Now, working with you was just, girl, when I tell you there are certain clients that you have that when you see them blossom, because I saw this years ago.
Oh,
you know, I don't know if you remember us when I was telling you and you were fighting it. No, I can never. I'm just little old me. And I'm like, no, honey. And then this ain't even it. This ain't even it where you're going. It's just gonna be bananas. Like I am literally waiting for the day when I just see it and I'm just gonna laugh and eat popcorn. Like I told her this was coming. Yes. So I am definitely so proud of you for stepping into your vision and into your dream and trusting, you know, your village to speak that into existence for you and hold space for you until it, you know, started coming. And I know that now with the book on the way and, I think I already ordered mine too, by the way. Yeah. Cause it's pre-order, right?
Yeah.
So I ordered mine. Yeah. And, cause one thing about it, it's like, I rush to hurry up and support. There's other artists and creators that I just buy their whatever creams, oils, this, that, because I saw it and I was like, I gotta have a physical manifestation of what I saw. So I think it's just beautiful.
And thank you for that so much. and this is just to remind people that your community, coaching, people who like get in there, find somebody, connect with somebody that can really see stuff in you that you don't always see in yourself at the moment. Like that's just so important. And that really, it really helped me in so many ways. So, so as I want to talk about diversifying the dream because I look at you and you're just incredibly talented in many ways. But what I love is that you're utilizing all of your gifts, like so many gifts. And I think a lot of times when people may have an ultimate dream, you know, like, oh, I really want to do this particular thing, but they're not doing that particular thing 100% of the time. They're full time. It's like, well, what do I do in the interim? What can I? Am I just supposed to sit here and twiddle my thumbs and be upset until I get there? Or what am I supposed to do? So with you and comedy, how did everything start for you? What was like, how did you discover like, hey, I'm hilarious and I need to do this?
Right. Well, I definitely first got to give credit where credit is due. And I too had, several coaches in my experience. Right. And one of my life coaches, Deshaun Booker, she was the first to say, you're this and this and this. I was taught long time ago, you pick one. Yes. You pick one and that's it, you know? And when you graduate from high school, they tell you, pick a major. You pick a major and that's it, right? First of all, I had to undo all of that, you know, that thinking that no longer served me.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, by default, what people, they gave you what they had, right? Yeah. That's just the lesson they knew. But as I had gotten older and I was like, well, you know, every gift I believe comes from, you know, your divine, you know, creator. And I was like, why would God give me a gift of teaching, a gift of laughter, a gift of helping and supporting people and calling out things? Why would you give me that? You don't want me to use it. And I remember I got some advice early on when I moved to Los Angeles, which was, you got to choose. You either a teacher or a comedian. Pick one. I never could understand that. And I was like, why would I? And I was just stuck in trying to people please people by making a decision.
Yeah.
So where the freedom came and where the peace came is when I healed myself from people pleasing. Because it ain't about the gifts. It's about how you perceive yourself and how you are allowing other people to have real estate in your mind and help and then help you unsolicitedly negotiate your gifts and talents to the world. First of all, you ain't even supposed to be here. Okay, that's number one. You weren't even divided. But we don't know how to tell people thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah.
Right? Because what else have we been taught? That's rude. Somebody's trying to help you, appease them, make them feel special. No, I am not obligated to help anybody help me unsolicitedly in my life. Right. And I hope unsolicitedly is a word. If not, add it Webster. No, because I don't play with words no more. If Beyonce put bootylicious in the dictionary, you take it unsolicitedly. That's all I'm saying. So the point I'm saying is like, if you are struggling with going, am I this, am I that, am I that? It's because of the way that you're something else outside of you, you're trying to, you know, make happy or make comfortable. And a lot of times people don't understand our arrangement of talents and how we can utilize them. So we get confused because all we need to do is be, but we get confused because we don't know how to explain it, you know?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm so happy you said that because that's what I struggled with for such a long time. Because I was like, okay, God, so why? Like, because I got the same advice. Choose one thing and just stick with that. And then it's like, even when I chose the one thing at the time, stuff wasn't opening up, stuff wasn't rolling in. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? You know, it was like, okay, so singer, songwriter, let me just go with that. Things were, you know, I had some things happen with that, but then it was like nothing was really happening. Then I got into other things and that was what it was. I felt bad trying to express myself, bring my life to other people because I was just like, well, I haven't reached a certain level of success, so maybe I can't really like, well, I'm not totally doing this thing full time yet, but you know, I'm doing this over here. And I was just like, okay, let me just be quiet because I sound like
Mhm.
what? Because you're afraid of being called a jack of all trades and a master of none,
Mhm.
and that's scary. That
Mhm.
is
And,
like
and, and
terrifying.
let's go to that. Who made that up? Is that scripture?
Ex-
What's that? Job 7? Is that somewhere? What you see, we create a lot of fear by what other people think and how other people are living their lives.
Yeah.
We don't even know who made that statement up. All we know is we were taught, don't let somebody call you that.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? You know, and then another thing is like, you know, you never hear business people, entrepreneurs have this issue. You've never heard somebody go, either own McDonald's or own a Burger King, but you can't own both.
You better come all the way through with the truth. Okay. You're
Help
right.
me understand. Why aren't you on Wall Street telling investors either you invest in real estate or you invest in Nike, but you can't do both? You've never heard that. And I just want to say that when it comes to diversifying your talents, honestly, all of this underlying discrepancy comes from a lot of people whose mentality is not about wealth and wealth building, because number one, you have to have multiple streams of income to be wealthy. That's just not even a negotiating term, right? It's not. That's given. You need multiple streams of income. If you are talented in this lane and that's income, you're talented in this lane, that's income, and this lane, that's income, you're building wealth.
Yeah.
Now, with somebody telling you you need to choose which one you're going to focus on is definitely a poverty mindset, because it's scaling back income. Anytime something is scaling back income or resources or reach, that's a poverty mindset. Unfortunately, many of us have grown up, been raised by, been taught by a lot of people with poverty mindset. And if you are not sure if that's happening in your life, but you feel it, talk to people about upgrading their appliances and see what kind of response you're gonna get. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that refrigerator. All you gotta do is jiggle the light, and it'll come out. Poverty mindset will tell you the best ways to stay poor.
Wow.
There's always a limiting belief or a suffering, right? Like you got to suffer. That's another thing that, you know, happens in our industries that we just discussed, is that people think that as an actor, entertainer, comedian, or whatever, you need to suffer. You need to be homeless. You need to. And I was thinking, is that really about being an entertainer, or is it about not having financial information?
Wow.
Which one is it? Because I really do believe that if people went back and they investigated their mindset, then they did not know how to save. They did not know how to take risk and reward when it comes to producing their own this or whatever. All they knew was what they were taught, which is to jump in, cross your fingers, and pray real hard. That is not business. It's not business.
Gosh, that's so wise. You see, okay, real quick. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I need people to understand. Like, this is the coach speaking right now. This is and the educator speaking. And like, and then she sprinkled in the comedy. She's sprinkling it in. But I need people to understand that this is what it looks like. I want people to really grasp that, because this is stuff that you've picked up along your journey because you started paying attention and you started then applying it to your life. And you're absolutely right, because we come into this industry and we think that, okay, I'm going to be a starving artist because that's all I've been told. And that's all we know. And then you feel like you failed if you have a day job and you're not on set all day, or you're not, you know what I'm saying, or on the road touring or whatever it is.
And it's so interesting that people despise having the quote unquote day job or the job that pays the rent or whatever, however you want to define it. And it's like, but you want to imitate, you want a job imitating real life, but you don't want to go and experience real life. What do you bring into the character? How do you know what it's like to be a waitress if you've never done service industry? How do you know what it's like to be around people and interact with people? And then you're going to bring this character to life and you have nothing to offer it. And if you notice, a lot of the actors that we admire and we celebrate, they've all come from regular jobs for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Because they remember what it was like to deal with a disgruntled customer. So now I can play the disgruntled customer because I know how I want to make you feel. You see? So it's like we take for granted that if things don't look like this in this box, that we, got this idea of what it looks like from television, from a show like a long time ago it was Robin Leach, Life of the Rich and Famous.
Yes.
And then we look at MTV Cribs, and then we look at, E Hollywood, we get these perceptions that these well-produced shows is what the reality of it looks like. And it's not. Imagine if we take people who are in the creative industries and work backwards. We first made them learn the business on paper. How to file your taxes as a creator, how to negotiate your salaries or meet with managers and what their percentage is. And a lot of people don't understand that working backwards will help you and protect you from scam artists and people who say, remember a long time ago they used to have like these modeling searches, and then they'll come to your city and then people pay like thousands of dollars. Like the reason why this industry is so full of scam artists and you're able to be taken advantage of is because of the perception that somebody's going to find you, somebody's going to discover you, and you just pray and you just wait to be picked. And that's not how business works.
Wow.
And when we get into this world, we have to understand that all you are is an entrepreneur who decided to sell a craft called acting. You sell that. It's a product.
Wow.
Yeah.
And if you think about that, if you think about it from the business aspect, that's the healthiest way to think about it, because what happens is if you think about it from the just discover me part of it, you're willing to do whatever it takes. And a lot of times you don't take care of the business. Now you're kind of like, once you're not popping, you've not developed any other skills. You don't know how to apply the knowledge that you've learned in this industry to another industry. And so you're solely dependent on one thing.
And guess what? Then you are so inviting into your life addiction. And that's why you see so many people, they're like, well, why does this person had everything and they commit suicide, or this person OD'd and this? Because honey, once you suppressed all of your divinity are your gifts and talents. So once you said, I'm only going to pick one, you have to suppress the others because they're there. Right. And once you do that and the film has wrapped, guess what? And the film didn't make any money and you're not at the Oscars, and then that emptiness and that loneliness, what are you going to do with all that? You got to keep suppressing. So you got to go to substance. You got to go to a process addiction. You got to do something that's going to mutilate, your body and your mind so that you can have the strength to suppress your divinity.
Good God.
Everything we do is a spiritual experience. Even as entertainers, you have to remember that you have a set audience and a set program amount of people that is literally waiting on you to express yourself. There's 9 billion people on the planet. Everybody doesn't care about what you're doing because there's other people that they're assigned to. So you take your 2 million viewers or whatever you have, and you do what you're supposed to do by sharing your life and sharing your gift with them. But a lot of times in our industry, when we do that suppression and we only pick one, we become greedy because now we have resentment. We have resentment because you made me not be able to do this, this, and this, and all I can do is this. So I want everything. I want fame. I want glory. I want this. I want that. And it becomes this thing bigger than you. And you lose yourself in the process. There's a price to pay with everything you do. Every decision you make, it's a cost.
Yeah.
So either the cost is going to be an investment, or it's going to be a penalty.
Yeah.
You see? And so like with me, as you mentioned, I'm a comedian, I'm an educator, and I'm a coach. The way that I know, because I go with the sparks in my life. It gives me, it is nothing more joyful than working with a client and helping them see their visions and their goals and helping them get on their way. I'm not a coach that goes on and on and on and on. I like to, I'm a launcher. Get on up out of there and I get you to the next coach. You know, because there are certain coaches that only acquire clients on certain levels, right? Because they have a way of maximizing what you have. I am a baseline coach. I am the one to get you cleaned up, out the mud, out the murk, and then go. Right?
Yes. And she does that very well. I know that to be the case. Yes. Absolutely.
And then as a teacher, that has been my passion since I was a child. The number one thing I played all day long was school. I'll never forget, I had this little green chalkboard, probably about this big. And I had asked my teachers every day, can I please have the extra worksheets? Can I please have some chalk to go home? The teachers used to give me all the extra supplies at the end of the year. Honey, I was in heaven. Wow. I taught those bears and those dolls and those Barbies. I lined them up. You go.
That is adorable.
Oh my God. That's all I knew. That's all I enjoyed. Right. Then as a comedian, I also, as a kid, loved playing around, imitating, impersonating, doing this, doing that, being in plays, being in, it's Easter time. And so, a long time ago, we be in the Easter Passion plays.
Lord, yes. Yes.
And Easter speeches. I always wanted the long Easter speeches so I could show them, I could memorize everything, right? So the point is, all of your gifts and talents, they showed up in your childhood.
Yeah.
You just have to pay attention. And those are your sparks. Those are the things that bring you joy, because as a child, you play and imagine with reckless abandonment. You don't care. You Superman, you're a dinosaur, whatever's in your head, you don't ask permission. You don't look around the room and say to an adult, do you mind if I pretend that I am? But a child's mind, they'll go. Yeah. And somewhere along the way, as we get older, pain, circumstances, trauma, it hardens us and we're not as free. So the goal is to always try to get back to your child's mind, your inner child.
Yes.
And get those sparks and that joy going. So I don't know how to, now it doesn't make sense for me not to play in all three lanes.
I love
it. It's imagination. When I talk to my students, when I inspire them, and the thing is, all three will show up together. Yeah, they play together.
And I love that. I love that. So how does this play out in life? Because I know people are like, okay, well, I have multiple gifts too. Okay, cool. So we're going to use these gifts. Okay. Thank you for giving me permission to use them all. But at the same time, it may be, I don't know if it's easier said than done, but what does life look like being an educator, then being a comedian, and then coaching as well, like on a weekly basis? Like, and I'll just say pre-COVID, like what was your schedule like? What is that? How does that?
I'll give you an example with both. Yeah. For me, teaching is pretty much a 9-10-ish month cycle, right? So you already know you have summers off, right? So then that's a great time for me. I do most of my travel for comedy during the summertime, right? With coaching is about being in an intimate space with your client. That could be via phone, FaceTime, face-to-face or what have you. So the first thing that I would encourage somebody to do is to first, before you start launching out of anything and doing whatever, learn time management. What is time management? What does that look like? And so before I can get into any of this other stuff, I got to make sure I have self-care. So then I already manage it out. I need to sleep 7 hours, right? 6 to 7 hours is enough for me, right? I need to do my spiritual work. I need to exercise. I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to have fun. Ladies and gentlemen, fun is self-care. You can't neglect, and don't sit down yourself and laugh and be around your friends and have a good time. So now what is left? So then when I look at what's left, now that's how you get your pricing together. Before I even do the next thing, it's what do I need financially to survive my lifestyle? Right? So now I say, okay, I have an apartment, I have this, I have a car, I have this, I need that, I want clothes, I want this, blah, blah, blah. You come up with a number. Now with this number, you can either do it, this is what I need monthly to survive. Okay. For the sake of the demonstration, let's just say $2,000. I need $2,000 to survive. Now you break that up into 4 weeks. So in 4 weeks, I need to make $500. So that week, from Sunday to Saturday, I need to make $500. And then you say, okay, if I'm going to teach, and this is another thing, there's all kinds of teachers, and a lot of people don't look into their day jobs more specifically. So sometimes you're stuck on a job and you're like, I don't want to work this job, but I have to work it. My dream is to do this and this. Okay, see if there's another version of your job where now you have more freedom and flexibility to add on. Maybe they have longer lunch breaks. Maybe they have shorter days. So what I learned to do was, as a teacher, to go to schools that were independent so that I can negotiate my salary, so I can talk about the hours that I can work and what I can't work. But a lot of people don't want to take that kind of responsibility for their lives. They just want to kind of suffer. But once you get rid of that mentality that I'm here to suffer, then you can start making more decisions that help support all the other stuff. So now, if I'm done with my day at 2:30 with teaching, and then you say, okay, so how do you coach? Okay, so then what's the number? What's the number? You 500? Okay, so I need to coach 2 clients a week. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are hour sessions. You got 5 days. Then you say, okay, what about comedy clubs? Comedy clubs usually are popping Wednesday through Sunday if they're open on Sundays, right? But those shows are at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. Sometimes I've gone up at 11:30.
Yeah.
So when you say, how do I balance? A lot of times people got to get that paper and pencil out and sketch it out so that you can actually see you have a lot of time.
Wow.
But the mentality of a poverty person will automatically say there is not enough time. How would you know if you don't have it managed? It's the same concept of people who hoard. See, you have a lot of stuff, but because you have no systems, no organization, you don't have anything on paper, you go to the store and you buy 2 more packets of paper towels and detergents because you can't see that you already have 10.
Yes. No, I hear you.
So yeah. So anytime we talk about using your talents and you're saying what does it look like in reality, the reality is we have to get the skill set of millionaires. They have time management skills, they have systems in order. It's nothing more amazing than hearing people say, I don't want somebody, I think it's lazy to have somebody come clean your place. If they're charging you $50 to come clean your whole house, but it take you 8 hours to clean your whole house, is it worth it for you to do it or for them to do it?
Exactly.
You see, but you won't know that until you get everything on paper. most times too, people don't know what income is coming in and what's going out. So it does require discipline to monitor and track your spending, you know? So yeah, so it's so interesting how people want to always just stay in the big picture.
Yeah.
But it's not, it's the details.
Yeah.
It's in the details.
Wow. And this is just so good. Like, this is just, if you was looking for a coaching session, you'd have came to the right show. Okay. Like, she'd have got my life together just in this moment. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's a reminder.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Yeah.
And I love that, because you're very right. People do look at the big picture. They look at, well, this is what I want, but that's not where I am right now. And until I'm there, then none of whatever goes on a day-to-day basis matters.
Yes.
But it's interesting. I heard an interview with Dame Dash, and one of the things he said, he was just like, you don't, like, whatever you're doing now is literally preparing you for the future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everything is dependent on what you're doing in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And if what you're doing in this moment is kind of sitting there wishing that things were as you see them in your mind,
mm-hmm.
then that's what you're going to be doing in the future as well.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And, you know, on top of that, to add to it, another thing is, I always tell people, you got to detach from your dream that this is somehow retribution or reconciliation for what happened to you in the past. If you was bullied as a kid, having an acting career is not your retribution. It's not, I hope I'm using the right word. It's not, you know, here to give you like, you know, now you're cure of your pain. Like, you got to deal with your, you got to deal with your past.
Yeah.
And that's separate. And this is a business, but a lot of people go into it like, oh, my whole family told me I wasn't nothing. You just wait and see. Yeah. You know what I mean? No, it ain't gonna work like that, because you going into a industry that's nothing but rejection and bullies.
Okay.
So you will definitely just rehearse yourself. Like, you just go.
Like, now I'm re-traumatized. I don't know what to do. And that's, you know, I'm so glad you said that, because it really is the truth. It's like, I do believe that if you are in, especially in the entertainment industry, it really needs to be a calling. Mm-hmm. It really needs to be something that you can't get rid of. Mm-hmm. Even if you run away from it, but you can't quite run far enough, because otherwise, no.
Don't work like that.
Like, no, like, you have to, it has to be a calling. That's just how I see it. Because it's just too much going on. It's like, why would you, like, you don't like yourself enough to go and do something and do a job that people appreciate you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it is. So, you know, no slight on the industry. It is what it is. But it's one of those things where just being in front of people, generally speaking, to whom much is given, much is required. And it's a lot that is required from that. So, because I love this. And I love the fact that right now you're teaching comedy classes.
Yes.
So not only are you teaching, you know, teaching the babies and all of that, but you're able to merge the two.
And so, because I'm in my divinity.
Yes.
You know, and the thing is, when you are clear about your divinity, what sources God gave you, you don't need other people's opinion or permission to do what you do.
Yeah.
I remember people saying, like, you haven't been on television, you haven't been on a major comedy tour, and you're teaching comedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else would you like me to help you with? You know what I mean? Because you got to be I'm unapologetic about my gifts and talents and the blessings that God has put in my life. Apparently, if a comedy club, I teach at Flappers.
Yeah.
If a comedy club likes what I do, likes my classes, and people are learning to grow it and doing their thing, what's the point? What's your problem?
Yeah.
And that's another thing. A lot of times people are not willing to look at something and judge it for what they're for its value. Mm-hmm. They want the decorations. They want the aesthetics of it. Yeah. So in other words, I probably would make, you know, a lot of more people happy and comfortable if I had a resume, you know, the aesthetics that they felt honored teaching. But the people who are paying me said, we see this, we want that. And that's what I want, you know, everybody to understand. It only matters between you and the person that you're making the agreement with to be paid. Other sideline people, if 15 people right now were able to say, we don't think angels should teach, what changed for me? Have you ever asked yourself, like, sit down in your apartment, take all the negative comments, take all the negative everything, and you put it down, and they say, Angel don't deserve this, Angel shouldn't be doing this, she doesn't do this. What changed in my home? Like, did the electricity go out? Like, what changed? Yeah. What changed in my body? Yeah. Did I get sick? Did I go blind? Like, what? Just nothing. Okay. You put the value behind other people's feelings. Yeah. And once you realize there's nothing, okay, and wait, before I finish, let me balance the equation on both sides. Say everybody loves me. Yeah. Everybody adores me. Yeah. How do I take that to Target and pay for my stuff? What do I do? What do I get to do with this? How do I, did the light stay on? Is DWP like, you know what? Everybody likes you. Don't pay us this much. So this is what I mean by that. Balance the equation on both sides. Yeah. Take both of them with a grain of salt. Oh, you like this? Great. All you're doing is expressing your experience with my art. I can't take that in and make that anything because there's nothing I can do with it. Because guess what? You can always change your mind. Yeah. So you leave that out there. And so that's why I want people to realize that people pleasing is the source of a lot of your pain. Because you don't know how to manage other people's expectations of you, other people's definitions of your words and your vision. Yeah. And also other people's feelings and opinions about what you're doing in your life. And once I was able to really put a lid on that and to really do my inner work to ask myself, why do I care so much about things that are outside of me? Yeah. Why do I care so much? A lot of it I was taught. Yeah. A lot of it, you know, I was feeling good and validated and I felt safe. But once I realized what it really was, I'm done with it because I realized that everything that I need to do my business, to do my work comes from my creator. I do. And I've never once heard God consult with people about my life.
That's the truth. Wow.
Never.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and so, yeah, go ahead.
So say in say September 2021, somebody's like, Angel Gaines, I want you to do this show. We're going to pay you this many millions. What does Angel do then? Does she still coach? Does she still teach? What does Angel do at that moment?
Yeah, because this is what I heard you say. Angel, in September, we want to book you for a project that pays $2 million. What I heard was that this is a project. It has a beginning and an end. I'm going to still be living when this project is over. See, and that's another thing, like having the mindset that something is it. This is it. This is the it. There is no it. because it ends.
Oh gosh.
It ends. It will wrap. There's going to be a director that goes, it's a wrap.
Yes.
They're going to pack up and you're going to go back to your life.
So what I'm hearing you say is that even when, you get a big ticket item,
yes,
so to speak, you're still you.
Yes. Yes.
And so you're married to your gifts, to everything that God's, put inside of you. And so even if you get this big ticket item, you don't deny who you are. You don't stop being who you are just to focus on the big ticket item. You're like, wow. So everything, all the work that I've been doing has produced this experience, and this is wonderful. And I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm still going to be who I am.
Yes.
So I'm still going to teach. I'm still going to coach. I'm still going to be, because it sounds to me that just is kind of like, this is all the dream.
Mm-hmm.
Like the various gifts that you have, that's all the dream. It's not, even if you're just doing one portion of the dream at the time, and like 90% of it and then 10% the other stuff, it's still all you, and you still have to be all of who you are.
And here's the thing. The dream was all you're already in the dream.
Yes.
You're already in it. You're in the dream.
Yeah.
It's just that when those certain things happen, only you are the one recognizing it. That's your recognition. Other people already saw it. Because if that wasn't the case, then what are blueprints? Why are they important? The blueprint is the dream.
Wow.
People wait for the building to be built. But that's the dream. The dream was the blueprint.
You about to have me running all up and through here. I'm about to run all up and through here right now. You better say it.
Think about it. You know who's the greatest example of that? Tabitha Brown.
Oh my, okay.
Right? Tabitha Brown is the great, and I saw your episode, and that's why I said she's the greatest example, because let me tell you why. Everything that Tabitha has monetized was all the stuff that had already happened.
Yep.
That was the dream. But she was in it. See, when you're you can't see you. Like, I've never seen myself outside of a mirror, right? Yeah. I can't turn around and look at myself and be like, oh my God, this is Angel Gaines, right?
Yeah.
Your vision of you is a different experience than people outside of you.
Wow.
So when I see, people doing their podcasts and this is the dream. This is the conversation that this podcast is what you're going to talk about on the Oprah, what is it called? Life class.
Yeah.
This is the content for that. This is the dream.
Gosh. Okay. That is so incredible, because when you say it like that, it actually brings you so much excitement.
Yes.
Everything and every part, every step of the process, of the journey, because you're like, when I start talking about, when I did this and did it, if you can, and I just want to encourage people to think like that, to think like, and then I'm gonna talk about when I was working at, when I was working at the candy shop, blah, 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 blah. And you know what I'm saying? Like, if you think like that, then you're in that space where you're like, oh, I understand that this isn't all that I'm going to do.
No. And then, like, even when you said, what if they give you $2 million? So then what I thought was, immediately, because I've reprogrammed my mind, I'm not getting $2 million. I got to pay the agent. I got to pay the manager. I got to pay. So when my money dwindled down, let's say I come back with $1 million, right? With $1 million. Now I got to go back to the blueprint and say, what do I need? How long do I need it? And another thing, like, just because I got this one job doesn't mean that they're coming like this.
Yes.
But I got to keep living.
Yeah.
So now this money got to be allocated.
Yeah.
And saved and then part of it got to be reinvested to get more money. So then immediately I was like, okay, I got to do another Fearless conference.
Love it.
Now I got more money. Okay. Yeah. Now I got to do some brand deals or something with some school supply companies or some, like, you got to keep business. People don't just make somebody sit down and be like, I made $2 million. Okay, I'm out. I'm good. That money runs out. Like, life still lives. And so you don't hear business executives be like, we partnered with, you know, a big brand. We're done. We're it. It's like, no, let's partner with every big brand we can find. You get what I mean?
Exactly. And I love that you said it's like you have to plug it in, because you already talked about earlier, right now, looking at your finances and seeing where things are and knowing what's going out, what's coming in. So it sounds to me like the work that you, like the discipline that you have now where you are, when you get the big ticket items, you're able to just plug it in, and your lifestyle, it expands, but the discipline is still there. You might be in a different house, but the same discipline that you started when you were in the 1-bedroom apartment applies to when you're in the 5-bedroom house.
Exactly. It doesn't change.
Yeah.
If anything, it gets more intense because now you have a lot more to maintain and regulate. And I always tell people, take the fantasy out of what we do. Yeah. Fantasy is an addiction. Fantasy is an addiction. And you can fantasize about anything. Some people have sexual fantasies. Some people have, fantasies of being another person, like a stalker, or, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And following people and, getting into their business. And then some people have a fantasy of goals and dreams. Like, I fantasize to live in a big house. If you see yourself living in a really big house, you really need to know what it takes to live in a really big house. But if you talk to them, like the next time you see somebody, they're like, I want cars and I want this and I want that. Ask them, what's the property taxes in Malibu? But why are you fantasizing about something you don't have? That's when you know if it's a fantasy or if it's an actual goal.
Yeah.
Because dreams have like a pendulum. If it's a dream and you swing too far over here, you can go into fantasy real quick. You won't do nothing. You just think about it, become obsessive about it, and just get jealous and envious and just want to watch it and just be on the sideline looking at everybody with it and just obsessing over it. Yeah. And then you can go over here and start doing steps and breaking it down. Yeah. Is the dream really to live in Malibu, or are you trying to appease and show off and people please? Yeah. But if you are a type of person like, no, I really want to live in Malibu, then you already know the cost and the this and even what cable services are out in Malibu. Who's the mayor? Like you know this stuff. So I just encourage people, check yourself for fantasy. Fantasy are also people who are not in classes. I want to be an actor. You ain't in nobody class. I want to be a comedian. You ain't in nobody open mic. You ain't in nobody's class. I want to do, it's the fantasy. And some people are very satisfied with just being in fantasy.
Wow. Wow. So what would you tell somebody who's at a 9-to-5 right now and they have a particular dream? Say it's to, they want to be in the industry, whether it's a performer or maybe, they want to be a filmmaker, whatever the case may be, but they're at a 9-to-5. What do they need to do as far as one particular thing that you say, do this? This is the most important thing for you to really hold on to.
They gotta study. If you're at a 9-to-5, you have enough money to afford classes. So you got to go down and look at the blueprint, create a blueprint. You say, okay, I'm at a 9 to 5, but my dream is, let's just say, an actor. Okay. So with that 9 to 5, it's time for you to get that calendar out.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to say, I'm going to take acting level 1, level 2 at XYZ place.
Mm-hmm.
Once you do that, your next steps will come. And here's what I need people to really understand. Being at a 9 to 5 is not a status. It's not a sentence that you're waiting out, and it's not a status that you're waiting to change. Mm-hmm. What it is this is what is paying your livelihood and your well-being right now. This is your stream of income that you've chosen. Mm-hmm. Okay. Nobody put you there. So already take away that whole feeling of I'm forced to be here. No, you're not. You are there as a choice that you made.
Yeah.
And there is nothing wrong with that choice. Now you want to leave, you create an exit strategy. You work on the acting stuff and what you need to be hired and understanding how to work on a set and all this kind of stuff, so that when it's time for your next steps to be revealed, you'll be prepared. Yeah. What I see all the time, and I have to, testify, I made the biggest mistake of leaping out and doing stuff without knowledge. What does that mean? I quit the job, had the money, quit the job, and then I was like, now I can pursue acting. Let me tell you something. If you don't have an agent and you don't have a manager and you're not actively going out on auditions, keep your job, please. You're not ready yet. Yeah. You cannot be on Actors Access submitting to, random stuff and thinking that, okay, I'm good. So what are you doing for the rest of the day? You're not going on auditions. What are you doing? What do you need so much time for? Yeah. And that's what I was saying is like, audit the time. You do have time when you work a 9 to 5. In fact, start working a 7 to 5 and get up 2 extra hours early and do all your self-care stuff and your affirmations and your reading. Get a lot of books about acting, about this business. Interview people. When you get in classes, you meet people and you create little networks because
that actually happened for me.
Yep.
That's where I met Tabitha.
Yep. Acting class. See?
I mean, and it's very true. So I just had to interject that that's true. No idea. You got to. There's so many people that are on doing their thing, and I met them in acting class. So
everything all your connections are going to come from your communities that you put yourself in.
Yeah.
And so, when people say I'm working a 9 to 5, that's you're not wasting time. If you got a 9 to 5 that really is a job that's like real, like dead end, like not dead end, but like dead time, you just sitting there. If you don't pull out those acting books and go online and start reading blogs and following actors and getting your actors toolkit together, if anything, to me, a 9 to 5 was like a real set aside time to get organized.
Yeah.
There's certain things you need physically as an actor, certain outfits, certain things in your arsenal, certain, you can learn a monologue sitting at your job. What do you mean?
Yeah, I love it.
But wait, Audrey, let me just say this though. But if you got a 9 to 5 and you like, doing some serious stuff like, plugging in gas pipes and stuff, I need you to focus.
Please, like if you working at the airport and you try to usher planes to land, hold on, I need you to focus.
Girl, you work at dialysis machines. I need you to like pay attention.
Yes, please. Okay? I'll be over here like, okay, Mrs. Johnson, hold on.
Yeah.
No, please pay attention to Mrs. Johnson, okay? She needs.
And then on top of that, pay attention to the people. Because these are the people that you can pull. You can pull, that the meticulous worker, the one who's always late, the laid back one that's always smoking a cigarette and don't care about this job and been there 50 years. You can bring those people into your auditions.
That's so true. It gives you an opportunity to people watch. It gives you an opportunity. So what it sounds like is like, you're like, look, take full advantage of whatever situation that you're in at the moment.
Yes.
Sometimes we need to just ask ourselves the right, like, better questions instead of why am I here?
Yes.
It's like, God, what can I learn being here?
Yes.
And then you start to look at things a little bit differently. And I think if you don't get frustrated by the fact that you are in the space that you're in,
mm-hmm.
and you actually look at it as like, okay, I'm in the space that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what are we about to do?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, what can I pull from this, and how can it serve me, and how can it serve others?
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
That's
I love it. So, Angel, you just
you always say that.
Where it just my whole heart is so full. Like,
yes.
My whole heart is so full right now, because I really believe that whoever is watching this is just like light bulbs went off, because light bulbs went off for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this. I'm so grateful. Now, how can people connect with you if they're looking, whether it's coaching, they want to come to a show, they want to take a class? How can they connect with you?
Girl, everything is on angelgains.com. Okay. If you go to angelgains.com, you can email me. My phone number is on there, and you just give me a call. Let's see what we can do. Because another thing I'm telling people who are listening to this broadcast, if anything you get out of this, it's get coaching. Get under somebody's mentorship, get under somebody's class, get under something, because that's where your training really helps. You cannot do this industry by yourself.
You can't.
I'm sorry. You can't.
And then life in general. I think that's the thing. Like, you can't do life by yourself.
You can't do it by yourself. You can't. And you know what? What's crazy is that I really don't understand that. Well, I do understand it because I know that it's, people not really getting it. But in our industry, there's no project that's solo. You got to learn how to get along with people.
Yes. The woman show is not solo.
It's not solo. The lighting person, the director, the ticket person, the this. In the comedy club, the booker, other comedians, the wait staff, this. Like, you got to learn how to go into this industry with a team player mentality, as well as a Kobe Bryant, I need to do my own stats mentality, but he was a part of a team.
Yeah.
You see? And so many people are like, I just dream I want to be an actress. I just dream I just dream. Dude, you can sit there, it's legal. You can dream and fantasize all your life. That's legal. You have not broken the law. But I can tell you this. And another thing I want to say, like with social media is intentional, guys. You're like, well, why is so-and-so blowing up? I'm going to do, you know why? Because they were consistent and they sat down and learned what social media and influencing was about.
Oh, girl.
You got to learn.
I'm telling you, okay. For all the people out there because I feel like I'm very shy.
Uh-huh.
And that's one of the things, social media, I was like, God, like that's how I would feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm starting to see is like a lot of times the stuff that you're doing is not just for you.
It's not.
If you have a gift that God put in you to bring to the world, sometimes you got to do stuff that you're not really comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have to kind of just a little bit get over yourself so that you can do what it is that God put in you to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
and let's go ahead and call that what it is. You're selfish.
Ooh.
And I'm uncomfortable. You're selfish. Call it what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's kind of like, if you look at it in another sense, it's almost like if a doctor is like, Yeah, I know I could operate on that young
I
girl.
am comfortable.
I
I
don't
just
like, I'm not 100% liking the ambiance in here right of this surgical suite. So I really am not trying to do it.
Mhm,
You would have a whole lot to say about that person.
mhm, mhm,
And maybe a part of it is that we're not always seeing ourselves as that level of valuable.
mhm.
Like we don't see ourselves that way, but you are that to someone. Like, I need to see what it is that you do, and give yourself a challenge. I did a challenge. I'm doing a 30-day challenge just as it pertains to my book. Like,
Yes.
some steps to get yourself and
Mhm,
into a level of consistency
mhm,
for your craft. So it's not just about you, but again,
mhm.
it is for people. So I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, and we're humans. We got to have flaws, guys. A lot of things about growth is being able to acknowledge and have self-awareness and say, okay, I'm being this way, I'm being that way. And many of us it's hard for us to call ourselves out. And when we get too wrapped up in ourselves and we made the video about them, so you mean to tell me if you got some information and some encouragement or whatever, and somebody is teetering on their life, and you think they care about what you look like, that your hair done? Do you think they care? I don't care. Talk to me. I need you to tell me that
Yeah.
life can go on. I
Yeah.
don't care. How many of us have asked our doctors, like, because, along line of your analogy, have you ever asked your doctor what color his socks are? Do you remember the last? Because you don't care, sir. I need your brain. I need you to be astute. What is this lump on me?
Yes.
Right?
Hard.
It's the same thing with your divinity. It's the same thing with your gift. So when I turn on and go live, sometimes I don't know what I'm gonna say, I don't know whatever. But also, I had to learn that I didn't understand social media. I didn't understand the different platforms, and so another person that helped me with that was Kev on Stage. Kev on Stage has a master class that he offers on. Yeah, it's online and it's very reasonably priced. Yes, and it's like 9 to 12 hours of how social media works, how you start, how you continue, how you keep going. Also, all the way down to what platforms do what. Instagram does not act like Facebook, does not act like Twitter. And so you're saying a lot of times when you say, well, I'm kind of shy, and when I said selfish, Audra, I wasn't diagnosing you. I'm talking about in general. But I'm saying, like, a lot of times you also are shy about things because you don't know how it works and you don't know what you're doing. So you don't tend to jump in because you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's why I tell people all the time, get into classes. Classes build your confidence because you at least know what you're doing. You've tried it in front of people. You can fail in a safe environment. You got more chances to pick it up and understand.
Class, okay.
Hey! So, I say to people, you got to get information. Why do you think these master classes are out here? Yeah. You think millionaires and billionaires don't study?
Yeah, and people do like to share their knowledge because they do like to help other people because they know that I was like that and I don't want other people to be like that. That's one of the reasons I wrote my book. It's like, I was like, I don't want people to go around not looking at themselves in the mirror and not accepting themselves. So you see what I'm saying? So I love that so much. Angel, you just didn't. It came on.
Girl, listen, you got to understand. I told you this long time ago. I said, Audra, the lives that are waiting on you. Do you remember me saying that? I said the number of lives that are waiting on you is immeasurable. You will never know that number. You will never know that number. That's something you're going to have to just release and say, okay, God, it's immeasurable. Because what you are teaching the world and what you are demonstrating, I just saying.
I appreciate you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate you so much. And I too have been that person that's just like, I feel like I'm all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But how can I use what I have
Mm-hmm.
to make some sort of impact, to help somebody, to do something in the world?
Mm-hmm.
And so whoever's listening, even if you're not 100% sure about what the dream is, I just want to encourage you to just know that it's there. The passion that you have, like you have the skill set for something. There's an underlying drive. Rewatch this interview. Look at Tabitha Brown's interview.
Mm-hmm.
There are just so many, like, other platforms, like whatever, but know that it's going to come to you. And I'm so grateful to have connected with you, Angel, because you do come across people in life where you're just trying stuff out, like me trying comedy. If I didn't try comedy, I may not have ever connected with you.
Exactly.
And that's my thing is like, just go and try it, even if you're not 100% sure, like why you're doing it. Like I sing, why am I over here doing comedy? That don't make sense, blah, blah, blah. It don't always have to make sense, people. It doesn't. And I'm so very glad that I just did it instead of trying to overthink it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you. If you have anything else to say, please say it.
I just want to leave by saying, they know how to get in touch with me, but I just want to leave by saying to anybody who needs to hear this, please understand, you are always where you're supposed to be. You're always, and if that doesn't ease anxiety, I don't know what can. Because even when you're feeling like, well, how can I be when I'm depressed and when I'm this and when I'm that? It's like, honey, I need you to understand that what you're going through is for other people. Because you got to be able to recognize what that pain looks like. You got to be able to recognize it. You can't help nobody. Like we forget, like, you know, you overcome by the power of testimony, right? When somebody says, I've been addicted to drugs for 25 years, you know, that's powerful, right? But they were always where they were supposed to be because they got to say that statement.
Yeah.
The statement got to be, I was addicted to drugs for 25 years, right? So in year 16, you're not going to understand, you know, you're not going to get that this got to go to 25. And a lot of times we want to know all of the path.
Yes.
You're only going to get as much truth as you're willing to accept. And that's how it is in our mindset, because, you know, and lastly with that, because that's a whole nother subject. I didn't want to bring that up, Audrey. But the last thing is, you know, look up the set aside prayer. You know, as you're in your prayer life, shake it up a little bit. And the set aside prayer is just simply, God, please set aside everything I think I know about myself to have a new relationship and a new experience with you and myself. Because it's what we think, it's our thinking that's the dilemma.
Wow. And with that said, y'all better go ahead and enjoy this day, because you done got all the blessings, okay? Thank you, Angel.
Thank you so much.
You are amazing. You are powerful. And please, angelgains.com, go hot girl, okay? It needs to happen. All right, y'all.
Yay. Thank you so much, Audra. It's been a pleasure. Yay.
Woo.